What if I told you there's a technique so simple, so powerful, that it can literally change your financial reality, starting today? A practice that doesn't require years of study, magical formulas, or exhausting effort. A physical gesture, performed with intention, capable of tuning your mind to the frequency of money. Yes, manifesting money out of nowhere may seem impossible, until you understand that money actually responds to your vibration, not to your effort. In this video, you'll learn how a simple act of closing a door, yes, an actual physical door, can become the most powerful financial manifestation ritual you've ever experienced. Get ready to transform beliefs, reprogram your mind, and pave the way for a new reality. And before we begin, comment below, I close the door to doubt and open it to abundance. This affirmation will activate your intention and connect you with that powerful frequency. Let's go? Most people believe that money is the direct result of physical effort, hard work, and rational logic. But the science of consciousness reveals a much deeper, more transformative truth. The external reality is merely a reflection of the frequency you carry inside. This isn't some mystical or abstract idea. It's the outcome of years of research led by Jacobo Grinberg, one of the greatest explorers of the human mind. Grinberg devoted his life to studying the neuronal field and scientifically demonstrated that everything we experience is shaped by the structure of our perception. According to him, the universe doesn't respond to what you superficially desire, but to the state of consciousness you sustain every day. In other words, it's not what you want that manifests, it's what you believe you already have. When you shift your vibrational state, reality inevitably reorganizes around you. The technique you're about to learn in this video is grounded in these principles. It will show you how to align your mind with the frequency of abundance using one simple yet powerful gesture that seals in a new reality. What happens next could change your life forever, if you allow it. Have you ever stopped to wonder why some people work tirelessly for years and still face financial struggles, while others seem to attract money effortlessly, almost naturally? The answer may seem puzzling at first glance, but it's both simple and powerful. Money doesn't respond to physical effort, it responds to vibrational frequency. The idea that money is a fair exchange for effort is one of the most deeply ingrained beliefs in our culture. We're taught from childhood that you have to grind hard to get anywhere in life. But this view overlooks an essential principle of reality. Everything is energy, including money. And like all energy, money doesn't flow because of merit or sacrifice. It flows through vibrational resonance. Imagine your mind as an antenna. If it's tuned to the frequency of scarcity, you'll only pick up experiences, opportunities, and thoughts that reinforce that reality. This explains why, even in the face of good ideas or promising situations, many people end up sabotaging themselves without realizing it. Mental programming based on fear, need, and lack acts as a filter, blocking everything that could generate prosperity. This frequency isn't mystical or invisible in the traditional sense. It's real, measurable, and has already been observed in neuroscience and quantum physics studies. Emotions such as gratitude, confidence, and joy produce brain states that favor expanded perception, creativity, and decisive action. Fear, worry, and anxiety, on the other hand, create a mental contraction that limits your actions and reinforces negative patterns. The irony is that the more you believe you have to work hard to earn money, the more you're, often unconsciously, declaring that money is scarce and hard to come by. That belief, even if unspoken, vibrates within you and creates a reality consistent with it. It's like trying to push against an immovable wall. You exert force, but nothing changes. Effort isn't useless, it's just misdirected. Working more isn't the solution if your mind is programmed for scarcity. It's like trying to fill a leaky bucket. No matter how much you pour in, it will never be full. True transformation begins when you understand that money is a response to what you emanate. The frequency of abundance isn't built by physical effort, but by the internal alignment between what you desire and what you already believe you possess. You don't need to try harder. You need to align more. You need to emit a new frequency. And that change doesn't start in the external world. It starts within you. From this point on, everything you learn will be a restructuring of your consciousness so that money comes to you instead of something you chase. The world doesn't respond to your sweat. It responds to your state. The reality you see with your eyes, hear with your ears, and feel with your body isn't as solid and objective as it seems. According to Jacobo Grinberg, renowned neuroscientist and pioneer in consciousness research, everything you call reality is actually an internal construction. We don't live in a fixed world. We live in a moldable field, an energetic matrix that responds to the structures of our perception. Grinberg called this network of invisible influences the neuronal field, a space where mind, energy, and matter connect. What does this mean in practice? It means that your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions don't just interpret reality, they create reality. Everything in your life today, including your relationship with money, is a direct result of how you've been interacting with this field. Most people think the mind's job is only to interpret the world. But in this expanded view of consciousness, the mind is a creative instrument. When you convince yourself that something is true, like money is hard to come by, I'm unlucky, or I'm not successful, you are feeding the field with a vibrational command, and it responds by manifesting experiences that confirm that pattern. This explains why so many people, even with the best intentions and desire for change, remain stuck with the same outcomes. They try to act differently, but keep thinking the same way. And as long as the field is being fed the same programming, it will continue to reflect the same reality. It doesn't matter how many financial strategies you apply or how many motivational videos you watch. If your consciousness is vibrating scarcity, the field will return scarcity. But here's the key to transformation. The field is not static. It reorganizes according to your frequency. When you change what you believe about yourself, the world, and money, the neuronal field picks up that new information and starts adjusting the paths, people, situations, and synchronicities to reflect your new vibration. Reality stops being a barrier and becomes a mirror. This is where science and spirituality meet. Your external life is a reflection of your internal reality, and what transforms that reality isn't effort, but conscious perception. When you change what you feel is true, you change the world around you. So instead of trying to control the world, begin restructuring your consciousness. By doing so, you alter your vibrational position in the field and activate a new set of possibilities. This isn't theory, it's practice. And in the next steps, you'll learn how to use a simple yet powerful gesture to seal this new frequency and open the door to abundance. The human mind responds powerfully to symbols and physical actions. Often, a simple gesture has more impact on the unconscious than 1,000 words. The door-closing technique uses exactly this principle. It's a simple physical act which, when done with clear intention, communicates to your mind and to the universe that an internal decision has been made, and it's this conviction that transforms your vibration. But why a door? Because it represents a boundary between two spaces. When you truly close a door, you're not just interrupting physical access. You're sending a symbolic signal of closure, transition, and definitive separation between the old and the new. In this context, closing a door after declaring your desire is like telling the universe, "This is already decided. There's no more discussion. I've already received." Here's how it works. Stand in front of a door in your home. It can be your bedroom, bathroom, balcony. It doesn't matter. What matters is what happens before and during the gesture. Before closing the door, make a firm, direct statement, such as, "I already have X in my account," or "Abundance flows freely in my life." Speak it out loud, with confidence, as if it's already a reality, not as a request, but as a confirmation. Then close the door decisively. No hesitation, no gentleness. You're symbolically shutting out doubt, worry, and the rational logic insisting on asking, "How will this happen?" With the door slam, you seal the vibration of certainty. This simple, direct physical act creates what neuroscience calls a kinesthetic anchor, a gesture that links an external action to a specific internal state. By repeating this practice daily, especially at moments when your mind is most receptive, like before sleep or just upon waking, you begin reprogramming your vibrational field. Your brain starts to interpret that action as a consolidated decision. There is no more debate. The desire isn't in process, it's complete. This is where many people fail. They close the door physically, but keep opening it mentally. They check, doubt, reevaluate. And each time you do that, you send the opposite message to the field: "I still don't have it." The result is a contradictory vibration, and therefore an unstable reality. The power of this technique lies in its simplicity charged with intention. The universe doesn't respond to timid desires, but to firm declarations. By closing the door, you're saying, "This matter is settled." And from that internal stance, the field begins to reorganize. The gesture is simple, the impact is profound. Manifesting isn't about desiring something intensely. It's not just visualizing what you want and hoping the universe listens. Conscious manifestation is a process that involves three fundamental principles, all of which act on your state of consciousness. These principles are simple, but when understood and applied consistently, they completely transform how you relate to reality. They're not rigid rules. They're guidelines that align your vibration with what you wish to manifest. The first principle is, desire contains its own solution. Every time you feel a true desire, it already carries within it the frequency corresponding to its fulfillment. It's like a two-sided coin, one side of absence, the other of realization. When you focus only on "I don't have," you vibrate scarcity and push fulfillment away. But if you understand desire as a compass, knowing that by feeling it, you're being guided towards something already possible in your reality line, then you access it from a state of vibrational readiness. True desire doesn't come from the ego. It comes from the soul, and the soul never desires anything unavailable in some dimension. The second principle is, don't debate the how. This is where most people stumble. They feel the desire, but immediately start asking, how will this happen? Where will the money come from? Is this realistic? These questions aren't rational. They're emotional sabotage disguised as logic. When you already have something, you don't question how you'll get it. You simply live as if it's already real. Debating the how is, without realizing it, admitting you don't yet have it. And that vibration of lack immediately cancels alignment with abundance. Manifesting requires mental silence in the face of doubt. You must close your internal door of analysis and remain firm in the certainty of fulfillment. The third principle is, faith is conviction in the invisible. True faith doesn't demand proof. It stands on the internal feeling of certainty, even when all physical senses say otherwise. Faith is acting, thinking, and feeling as if it's already true, ignoring what the eyes see, the ears hear, and reality appears to confirm. You practice faith every day, when you eat, believing your body will digest, when you flip a light switch without understanding the electrical circuit. The question is, Are you using your faith for or against yourself? Those who constantly affirm, "I can't, it's too hard, I'm unlucky," are also exercising faith only negatively. The key is to reverse that process. Applying these three principles entirely transforms your vibration. By desiring consciously, abandoning the how, and cultivating true faith, you enter the field where everything is already realized. Reality stops being an obstacle and becomes a mirror, and money, once distant, begins to appear as a natural consequence of your new frequency. Visualization isn't just imagining, it's feeling, living, and experiencing with body and mind a reality that hasn't yet manifested physically, but already exists as an energetic possibility. When done with precision and intention, visualization isn't a creative exercise, it's a vibrational act. And when directed toward abundance, it becomes a powerful magnet capable of attracting money unexpectedly without forced effort. Most people visualize incorrectly because they see themselves in the third person, as if watching a movie of their own life. But to magnetize money, you must visualize in the first person, feeling yourself within the scene, seeing with your own eyes, hearing with your own ears, feeling with your skin, and emotionally reacting as if it's happening now. Start by creating a symbolic, specific scene. Don't imagine something generic like being rich or having a lot of money. Choose a clear, realistic, and representative moment. For example, opening your banking app and seeing the balance you desire, or someone on your team celebrating with you for a big sale, or you signing a contract that represents a significant financial influx. The scene should be short, intense, and loaded with personal meaning. The second step is to include all the senses. Visualize the colors, the lighting, the sounds around you, the textures of objects, the scent in the air. Feel the temperature of the place. If you're holding a bank statement, see the numbers clearly. If someone hugs you in celebration, feel that touch. The more real it is, the more your brain interprets it as happening. And once the brain logs an experience as real, it starts adjusting your perception, decisions, and emotions to align with it. The third point, and perhaps the most important, is to generate the feeling. Visualization is only powerful when you feel. It's not enough to see the mental image without emotion. You must vibrate gratitude, joy, relief, enthusiasm, security. You must believe in that moment that it's already part of your life. This feeling is the bridge between the imagined and the manifested. Practice this scene every night before bed, when your brain enters the hypnagogic state, a brainwave state where the conscious mind relaxes and the subconscious becomes more receptive. Visualize calmly with rich detail and allow yourself to fall asleep feeling it's real. Your vibrational field will be impregnated with that information. Accurate visualization combined with genuine emotion is a direct way to communicate to the universe. I'm already there. When you live this scene internally with sufficient intensity, the neuronal field begins to reorganize external circumstances to reflect exactly what you felt. Money comes not because you asked, but because you aligned with it. Have you noticed how the mind loves to ask questions that pull us out of the present? How will this happen? When will it arrive? Am I doing this right? What if it doesn't work? These are the silent voices that sabotage the manifestation process. And it's not because they're malicious, but because the mind has been conditioned to seek control and logic, even in territories where logic doesn't apply. The key to silencing these voices is developing mindfulness and radically transforming your self-talk. Mindfulness isn't just a meditation technique, it's the skill of observing your thoughts without identifying with them. When you manifest from the field of consciousness, there's no room for how or when. Those questions arise from the rational mind, which needs guarantees, schedules, and mechanisms. But the universe doesn't operate on that frequency. It responds to vibrational certainty, not mental analysis. Whenever you notice those internal questions like, how am I going to get this money, or will I have time, recognize you're shifting to the scarcity polarity. That's because how and when assume you don't yet have it, that you're not yet there, that something is missing. And the field reacts accordingly, manifesting exactly that sense of separation. This is where self-talk holds power. Whatever you silently repeat to yourself frames your reality. Your internal words are vibrational seeds. If you catch yourself mentally saying, "This won't work," or "This is too good to be true," interrupt that flow immediately, not with anger or repression, but with awareness and redirection. The practice is simple but requires discipline. Observe, interrupt, and replace. Every time a limiting thought arises, pause, breathe, acknowledge that it isn't truth, just an old program reflecting outdated beliefs. Then replace it with a power phrase. It could be, "It's done," "I trust," or "I already have what I need." Consciously repeating this reprogramming builds a new vibrational pattern. You don't need to convince anyone, only yourself. And it starts within your own inner dialogue. Mindfulness means noticing what you say internally when no one is listening. Changing that tone, that language, and that focus determines whether you continue feeding scarcity or begin sustaining abundance. Remember, doubt is a form of faith. Faith in what you don't want. Every time you overanalyze, question too much, or overthink, you activate a frequency of distrust that sabotages manifestation. Silencing how and when isn't passivity. It's an act of power. It's the certainty of someone who already knows it's done without needing to understand how. And that state of consciousness is what the universe hears. Faith isn't hope, it isn't optimism, nor is it blind belief or an internal rooting for something to happen. Faith, at the deepest level, is a state of consciousness. It's the absolute conviction that what you desire is already real, even when your senses still deny that reality. When you manifest from that state, the universe has no choice. It responds. We're used to thinking we need proof to believe. But in conscious manifestation, it's the opposite. You believe before you see. Your senses are limited. They capture only a fraction of what exists. If you wait for your eyes to see it, your ears to hear it, or your bank statement to confirm it before you believe, you'll always vibrate lack. Because in that scenario, you're telling the universe, "I still don't have it." True faith is when you feel as if you already have it, and that feeling can't be forced. It must be cultivated. How? Through repetition of the desired scene, vivid visualization, positive self-talk, and mindfulness. When you lie in bed at night, and even in silence and darkness, feel gratitude for something that hasn't happened yet, you're accessing the field where all possibilities exist, and anchoring that particular one. You already practice this kind of faith every day, but often negatively. When you say, "I know it will fail," or "with my luck nothing will change," you're expressing emotional certainty, but towards scarcity. Negative faith also manifests, and very precisely. That's why the secret isn't learning to have faith, but redirecting the faith you already have toward what you desire, not what you fear. The universe doesn't respond to your superficial desire. It responds to what you truly feel. That's why the practice isn't about desiring forcefully, but about internally assuming the desired reality is already yours. You don't need to see the money hit your account to feel prosperous. You need to feel prosperous so the money lands in your account. This inversion changes everything. Ignoring the senses isn't denying reality. It's refusing to be enslaved by it. It's understanding that the physical world is the plane of effect, not cause. Cause lies in consciousness. If you change your consciousness, sooner or later reality adjusts. Faith is living as if the invisible were already visible, and the longer you sustain that state, the more the universe collapses possibilities in your favor. Faith doesn't demand proof, it creates proof. And when you reach that point, money ceases to be an obstacle and becomes merely a consequence, a natural response to the vibration you've chosen to sustain. Now that you understand the true power of your mind, the next step is simple. Act internally as if the desired reality already belongs to you. Don't wait for circumstances to change before you believe. Believe so that circumstances change. The door-closing technique, precise visualization, silence before doubt, and cultivation of faith are not pretty ideas. They are real tools that, if applied consistently, will completely transform your relationship with money and with life. Start today. Choose your declaration, close a door with conviction, sustain your new vibrational identity for 21 days, and watch the world shape itself around your new frequency. You are no longer asking, trying, or wishing. You are affirming, embodying, and living. If this content touched you in any way, subscribe to the channel to keep receiving teachings that unite spirituality, science, and practice. Share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. And comment below, "I am already living my abundance." Your public declaration strengthens your vibration and inspires others to do the same. Remember, reality responds to those who decide. The universe cannot resist a mind aligned with certainty.